Hey guys, welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Let's carry on where we left off. We've managed to summon the Phantom Lady, and now we're going to exorcise her, or deport her, or put her in jail, depending on how this country's criminal justice system works. She has fingered us as the culprit, which is obviously not correct, so we need to press the attack because she is more likely than not our culprit. Indeed, the lady has offered a satisfactory explanation as to why she removed this glass. I think henceforth we can consider the matter to have no bearing on the case. Counsel for the defense, are you in agreement? No. Of course there's some bearing on the case. There has to be, because this is my only way forward. Well, I don't know, really. If you want to pursue this matter further, you're going to need to show that it has some deeper significance. Yes, you're right. So she took the glass away in her handbag. If there's a deeper significance there, it's... well... the glass, right? Like, why would you take a drinking glass? You can't say you did it in a fit of panic, right? Maybe there's some evidence to do with it. If you ask me, it's the fact that she took the glass that has a deeper significance here. Why do you think that? Oh, I don't know. Like I said, why would you take a glass? Because it's the property of the restaurant. It's not some harmless act of pilfering, like taking a bar of soap home from the public baths, is it? You take soap from the public baths? I did not say that. I was comparing, okay? It's a simile, Kazuma. What? No! I mean, that isn't significant here. Did you take the towels too? No! It's very significant. But this isn't the time or the place. Yeah, I'm right, okay? I'm already being tried for a murder. The last thing I need is to be tried for petty larceny. There are more important things to concentrate on now. I think maybe you should reconsider your position, too. Ugh, sorry. I will. Does that mean we got it wrong? Well, I mean, the handbag is obviously suspicious, too. It shows that she could have concealed a gun, and not beneath her hat. So, let's go with the handbag. Wait, the lady put the glass in her handbag, you say? Yes, do try to keep up, you moron. It's already been explained to the court that all English gentlewomen carry handbags for small items. Let me see. A little while ago, Miss Brett stated the following. I wrote this down, actually. There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. No, she didn't sound like that, though. She actually had her English accent. But what she forgot to mention was her handbag. Oh, gosh. In which it would be perfectly possible to conceal a gun. You're right. Well done, partner. I had a feeling you'd pick up on that too. Yeah, the second time around. What are you insinuating, you vile blackguard? It's really very simple. The gunshot was heard when the defendant picked up the gun from the restaurant floor. As he didn't fire that gun, we can deduce there must have been another firearm at the scene. The true murder weapon, if you will. Will you? You can't seriously be suggesting, Inspector Hosonaga. Yes. Did you or did you not search Miss Giselle Brett's handbag on the day of the murder? No, sir, I did not. Oh, so much for a flawless investigation, you twat. As I thought. In other words, another gun. The one that was actually used to kill the professor. Could have been hidden in Miss Brett's handbag. No! Ooh. Yes, that got the court all riled up. Order! 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 What is the meaning of this, Inspector? The meaning of what, Prosecutor Ouchie? Why on earth did you not have the lady open her handbag and show you the contents at the time? Thanks to your bungling incompetence, now she has to endure these uncomfortable accusations. Ah. Brilliant work, partner. You said that, but yeah, thank you again, Kazuma. Now we have a chance to expose the real woman behind the mask. Do you think so, Kazuma? You think it's all sunshine and rainbows behind that mask, or something demonic? She is known as the Phantom Lady, after all. Oh dear, oh gosh. Well, you're doing a very terrible job, Inspector. Well, what a sorry situation. Clearly you have no faith in the police. Of course I don't. You arrested the wrong person. I'm here defending myself. You think I'd have faith in you guys right now? You serious? As I said, I did not search the lady's handbag after the shooting, simply because you searched it before. It was unnecessary. Unnecessary in what way? I ought to thank the student lawyer, really. Oh dear. This music doesn't mean anything good. I have a piece of evidence here that I had completely forgotten about. God, you're either flawless or you're not, okay? This photographic print. Oh, nice. Just tucked in your pocket. For a rainy day, I see. This print is of a photograph I thought would be prudent to take immediately after the shooting. Oh, look at that. Is that a tattoo on Dr. Wilson? As you can see, it clearly shows Miss Brett's handbag. Well, I never. You can see right through to what's inside. It's a translucent handbag? That's right. Apparently, meshwork bags like these are the height of fashion in London at the moment. Are you kidding me? So the contents are clearly visible. Exactly. So there was no need to search the lady's handbag. If there had been a gun inside, it would have been immediately obvious. As you can see, there's nothing to imply Miss Brett's guilt here. Good day. Thank you for helping to prove that, Naruhodo-san. Well, it's my job, to prove things. Obviously, it's supposed to prove things in my favor, but all the same, I've done my duty. Oh dear, I've completely collapsed. The house of cards is wobbling. Order! Order! Inspector Hosonaga, you will submit that print as evidence at once. Certainly, Your Excellency. The photograph of the handbag has been entered into the court record. Probably should have read what it said. I think you've had long enough to cross-examine the witness, counsel. Let's go ahead and read, actually, what it says. A photograph taken by Hosonaga-san after the incident occurred. It shows Miss Brett's handbag on a chair by the victim's table. Okay, it's a mesh handbag, so we can see through it. Well, one side at least. Okay, and then we've got this mark over here, which is something to note as well. Excellent. The court has now been shown considerable evidence. Well, Kazuma, you still think I'm doing a brilliant job? As the photographic print just submitted into the court record appears to have no further significance, I am satisfied that there is no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling, even though we are an hour late. Indeed, and there is only one logical conclusion. That the pathetic rookie slumped over the bench before us is the only possible perpetrator of this crime. Oh dear. Come on, recover, Ryunosuke. No. Just when I thought I was beginning to turn things around. I'm in a worse situation than I was at the start. Well, this is when you're supposed to laugh, Ryunosuke, apparently. That's what a future lawyer would say. Oh dear, even Kazuma's given up. Or is he doing the thought route? Kazuma? I'm sorry, Ryunosuke. Now that the cross-examination of the witness is over, there's no way to force the trial to continue. What? You mean this is it? I can't believe it, I won! I didn't actually win, I won! I'm a genius! I must say, you put up quite a fight. For a rookie student. But the weak are meat, while the strong eat. Winner, winner, chicken dinner, and you, sir, are a chicken. Bok, 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 bok. You are wasting your time. There's no way to defeat true justice. In fact, you can chew on to your heart's content, from the inside of your cell. This can't be happening. Am I really going to be found guilty of a crime that I didn't commit? And Kazuma... his dream of going to study in Great Britain will slip through his fingers. Kazuma. What? Cut your losses. Just run out of the courtroom. Board a ship. Stow away. Go to Great Britain like you always wanted to. Is there really no chance now of turning this trial around? You heard the judge. There's nothing about that last photograph the detective produced that we can contest. Which means... there's no basis on which we can argue for the trial to continue. Very well. I will now proceed immediately to the ruling. It seems we will be able to report to the British government on time after all. That smug little... Ryunosuke Naruhodo, having considered all of the evidence placed before me, yes. I hereby find you... Yes! Oh, there we go. Wait, Your Excellency. Ryunosuke. I don't think you can rule on this case yet.
Objection!
Ah, for fuck's sake! This amateurishness is getting tedious. When His Excellency deems that the trial is over, he gives his ruling. That is the most basic protocol of the courtroom.
Yes!
You're a sore loser. Your Excellency, just a moment ago you said this. As the photographic print just submitted appears to have no further significance. There is no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling. Now that means that if there was a problem with the evidence, some significant detail I mean, then ruling on the case at this time would be out of the question.
Objection!
This is blatant straw clutching! Look at this photographic print, you imbecile! All it shows is the handbag the gentlewoman was carrying on the day in question. There can be no problem with this evidence. What if it was Dr. John Wilson's handbag? You'd better know what you're doing, Ryunosuke. I understand your objection, counsel. Certainly. The new evidence submitted by the detective has not undergone the court's scrutiny. Yeah, I was about to say, we haven't actually taken a good, hard look at it. It just came into the court record now. However, I fail to see how we can glean any new information from this handbag. Ha! My thoughts exactly! Really, the prosecution is becoming tired of this rookie's desperate wheezes! Okay, hang on, let's have a quick look at this photograph. Okay, well, the most obvious thing in this picture that stands out is this mark on Dr. Wilson's hand. Now, whether this is relevant or not is another thing entirely, but I don't think we can argue anything about the handbag anymore, because that's what they're all focused on, right? But no one's paying any mind to what this is. And I bet you we're gonna have to do one of them spot selection kind of tests. So let's find out. Yes, I am desperate, but this isn't a wheeze. There's something about this photograph which just doesn't seem right. If only I could put my finger on it. Well, I'm about to. Very well, I will grant the defense one final opportunity. What? Are you serious, Your Excellency? Oh, but be warned that if I am unsatisfied by your response here, the trial will be over with immediate effect. Does that mean the unlimited penalty? Do I make myself clear? Yes, Your Excellency. So, take another look at the photographic print Inspector Hosonaga submitted before. Nope, it's just one. You will identify for the court where in this print we see the significant detail to which you have alluded. Okay. Well, I wasn't wrong. We do have a spot selection. Let's go ahead and point this out, and if it's not that, then we're gonna have to go back to the drawing board.
Yes!
Music hasn't stopped. But we've zoomed in. I don't know, is this right? Look at this here. There's a very unusual mark on the victim's wrist. That is true. So what? It looks almost like a burn of some description. A burn mark? Okay, it's a very shapely one. Like a brand. Oh, looks like she's panicked a little bit.
Objection!
Here we go. Dear me, I was pondering what new piffle you would come out with. A burn, you say? On the victim's wrist? The guy was shot, doofus. Did you read the autopsy report? I mean, sorry, what are we calling it these days? The post-mortem report? Clearly that has nothing whatsoever to do with the magnificent lady's handbag, or his dental appointment, or his steak. Not that he ate it, it was actually the lady. Yes, that is a burn mark, you're right. Go on, Inspector. The police coroner also noticed it when he was performing the post-mortem examination, but he, for some reason, decided to leave it out of the report. It was deemed unrelated to the cause of death, so he didn't note it in his report. Right. So, I feel like we are clutching at straws here. What does the burn mark mean? What did I tell you? In any case, we have no idea when the victim suffered this burn, do we? And no possible way of knowing either. The more I look at it, the more I find myself intrigued by the curious shape of this mark. Well, you could say it looks like a bull if we're going upside down, or if we're looking at it as is, it's a ghost, and you can slightly see a face on it. However, as Prosecutor Ouchie points out, unless a firm connection to the case can be shown, I cannot allow any further time to be spent on the precise details of this burn. I have to make a call, and I'm still hungry after my lunch. Burn. Excuse me, Your Excellency. It would seem Miss Brett has a lunch appointment with the Dean and other university staff. Oh, convenient! Geez, you always have something going on at the university. You're a very busy lady, aren't you? Suppose you had time to fit murder in your schedule? She would like to know if she may be excused from the stand now. Oh, of course, dear lady. We shan't hold you up any longer, you educated, beautiful woman. I'm quite sure His Excellency is about to give his final ruling anyway. You don't want to stick around for that. It can get ugly. Sometimes they scream and shriek as we drag them out of the court. What's your thinking on this, Ryunosuke? Do you believe this burn does have something to do with the case? I don't know, man. I just pointed it out just to buy myself some extra time. Looks like it was only 2 minutes. To be honest, I'm not really sure. I just noticed it because I have powers of observation. Apparently everyone else doesn't. But if I don't keep pushing, then it's all over. So I was thinking I should keep digging and digging, in the hope that I might uncover something useful. And thus, the first bluff in court was made. This is the origin of the bluff. Legends say they learned poker from this. Yes, you're right. I am? Since when? If we could just link that burn to the case. If we can do that, we might be able to prise this shutting door back open again. Just give up, counsel! You can't possibly hope to do that. Well, you know, if you're winning, would you really urge your opponent to give up? Surely you just keep smiting them down until they're gone, right? I don't think you've got the empathy to get us to give up because it's better for us to do so, right? It's more like you think you've won and you just want to end it quickly and take it and run. Indeed. I'm afraid that without evidence, I can't allow you to pursue what is little more than conjecture. But if we had evidence that irrefutably linked the burn on the victim's wrist to the case, then you would allow it? I would, yes. What do you think of me? I'm a judge. I'm supposed to be fair. To tell the truth, I hadn't noticed that burn. But as soon as you pointed it out, what I did notice was the color draining from Miss Brett's face. Exactly! Really? I have to find some link between that burn and the case. This is the moment of truth. It's time to find some evidence that proves what that burn really means. So then, the defense will now present its evidence to the court. What do I have? The evidence that demonstrates an inextricable connection between the victim's burn and this trial. Oh boy, okay. Well, let's comb through the records, I guess, and we'll see what we can find. I'll let you know. Well, I found it, I think. It's this logo over here. It's on his, oh not his, sorry, her plate of steak. Probably came out sizzling to keep the steak warm. And he somehow burned his wrist on it. Well, this is the one. Let's present it.
Yes!
Ah, music stopped. What's this, Consul? Yet another print? How many of these new fandangled devices have you guys got? Yes, Your Excellency. I believe photographic prints are an amazing invention. When we humans look at a scene, we miss things. But in a photograph, things we may have overlooked at the time are recorded forevermore. Until the photographs are inevitably creased. Do hurry up, rookie. What are you trying to say? Miss Brett needs to leave. She's got an appointment. To inconvenience this poor lady any further really would be quite inexcusable. Actually, we may need you to stay with us a little longer if you don't mind, Miss Brett. You see, it's very clearly visible on this other photograph. How did the victim come to have that unusually shaped burn on his wrist? The reason is recorded here forevermore. What? How?
Objection!
You can't fool me with your little bluffs, boy. I know you're bluffing. I know it. I know you are. If that's your game, then let's see how it plays out. Show the court exactly what you mean. What is it in this photograph that explains the reason for the victim's burn? This is just in case you accidentally submitted this photograph on a whim, trying to appease the judge. Here it is. Clear as day.
Yes!
The beef steak? You saying the cow burned him? Actually, the point is the metal plate the steak was served on. The plate? Oh! Your Excellency, are you alright? Bless you in advance! As you can see, there's an emblem on the plate. I would guess it's some sort of trademark of La Carnival. Oh, look at shock there. This emblem on the plate. And the victim's burn are exactly the same shape. Ah! Ryunosuke, you genius. Yeah, I am. You're spot on. Which means the victim must have suffered this burn while he was present at the restaurant. I don't think the dentist has that logo. Do you?
Objection!
But even if that is the case, we can't know if it happened on the day in question or not. Maybe he's a regular at the La Carnival. It could have been the day before, or the day before that. It most likely happened at some other unrelated time. Now who's conjecturing, you dumbass? Well,
Objection!
Don't falter now. Kazuma, tagging you in. Sadly, Prosecutor Aochi, the chances of that are extremely slim. Thanks. Why? The outline of the burn is clearly discernible. Such a serious injury would have caused quite a commotion in the restaurant. Wouldn't you agree, Inspector Hosonaga? I can't imagine having missed such a terrible disaster, certainly. But... I would say, looking at the picture of the wound, that it wasn't suffered very long ago. And, although it's not a particularly large burn, it's extremely well defined, as the defense just pointed out. Hosonaga, are you being impartial? You're kidding me! This was no mild burn, that's for sure. Can you be more specific, Inspector? Well, let's see. If the plate was at around 90 degrees centigrade, a burn like that would have taken around 3 seconds. Ooh, it's inconceivable that the victim wouldn't have let out a scream of pain then. Unless he was already dead. I've been investigating at the restaurant for several weeks already, but I've not heard anyone scream at all. As the head waiter of La Carnival, I can testify to that without hesitation. But you're supposed to be on my side. You're the police. You're a detective, not a waiter. It says on his business card.
Yes!
There you have it. Something isn't right here. As the detective said, anyone who burnt themselves on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds would scream in pain. No doubt about it. There's no question of that. And yet Inspector Hosonaga never heard the professor scream. Not on that day or any before it. That's right. And the strange thing is, on the day he was shot, I didn't hear him cry out either. What are you suggesting? Well, if the professor had carelessly laid his wrist on the plate for anything like 3 seconds that day, not to mention you don't leave it on your plate for 3 seconds before you realize you're getting burned, that would be beyond careless, I think, Counsel. Then the rest of us in the restaurant, myself, the sergeant, and the old antiques dealer, all of us would, without any question, have heard him scream. And I don't think he had a gag on. Even though he had dental work, Your Excellency, sorry. I think he would have screamed. I don't think he was all screamed out. Wouldn't you agree, Prosecutor Aochi? Not professor. You're gonna be a professor after this. Those who can't do teach, after all. Well, yes, I suppose. So the question is, Why didn't a single person hear Dr. Wilson scream? It's Dr. John H. Wilson, Ryunosuke. Come on, get it right. Ah! I almost don't believe it. Ryunosuke, do you think... This is it! This is our chance! We can't retreat! We can't back down! Can it really be true? I never dreamt we'd arrive at a conclusion like this, but... I'm starting to think that maybe... we've been led into a terrible trap! Uh-oh. There's only one explanation I can think of to make sense of this apparent impossibility. On the day in question, when he suffered the burn to his wrist, Dr. Wilson was asleep. He was already deceased. No man could remain silent while his wrist was burning on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds. That's clearly impossible. Apart from in one particular situation. Counsel, are you suggesting? That's right, Your Excellency. Yes, it's only possible if the man was already dead. Already dead? Knowing what we know now, it's the only possible explanation. Ooh, a calm disc slam. When the beef steak was brought to Dr. Wilson's table that day, the professor was already dead. That's madness! Wow. What on earth? Order! Order! Order, please! Counsel, explain this absurd notion at once! The victim was killed by a gunshot! That's right! That's absolutely right, Your Excellency! This is preposterous! This is just another ridiculous ploy by the rookie student, but clearly has no grasp of the facts! He's got a wild imagination, Your Excellency!
Objection!
No, Prosecutor Ouchie, it's you who has no grasp of the facts. I beg your pardon? As soon as it became apparent that the victim had suffered that burn while at the restaurant, this whole case was turned upside down. Or have you not grasped that yet? Your Excellency, the court must hear from this witness again. If it's true, as we now believe, that the victim was already dead before the gunshot was heard, it's highly likely that Miss Brett knows something about it. Incredible. I certainly didn't anticipate this twist of events. I'm sorry to say, Miss Brett, you're not going to be having lunch today. That you will have to forget your luncheon engagement. This is far more exciting anyway. But Your Excellency! The justice system in our country may be in its infancy, but rest assured, all reasonable doubt must be dispelled before I'm prepared to pass judgment. Thank you, Your Excellency. Oh, are we gonna see your eyes? No, we're not. Calm as ever. What was that smile? Yes, of course. I mean, I'd be delighted to help. Especially if it helps relations between my country and yours. Ah! Huh? Ah, Miss Brett, you speak Japanese. Well, yeah, she lives here, or she's staying here. You'd think she could at least know some basic phrases, but she's doing quite well. Well, of course I do. I'm studying in your country, after all. But then, why have you been speaking through an interpreter until now? My mother tongue, the Queen's English, is the most refined and elegant language in the world. As a gentlewoman, I try to avoid speaking in your vulgar tones as much as possible. Wow. Okay, thanks. Thanks for coming. Thanks for studying here. Well, Ouchie, is she still refined? But it seems the men in this land possess none of the chivalrous virtues of English gentlemen. So I can see that I shall have to lower myself to communicating with you all on your own level. Oh, Ouchie, that's my name. Well, you are the epitome of a true English gentlewoman. We are truly honored by this lavish consideration you so graciously afford us. Oh God, stop sucking up to her, jeez. I see. In that case, Miss Brett, I will now ask you to testify in your own words. And you can definitely forget about that luncheon of yours. About the events leading up to the death of the victim, Dr. Wilson. So, we're finally going to hear her own words on the matter. Things are getting interesting, Ryunosuke. Yet that they are. Witness testimony! The victim's death.
Unfortunately, I have no idea when the poor man burnt his wrist like that.
Oh, we're in Allegro.
When the waiter brought my steak, Professor and I raised our glasses in a toast. As far as I've heard, the post-mortem report showed no other possible cause of death besides the gunshot. If there's some other way a man's life can be taken without leaving a trace, please, do show me.
Was he poisoned?
But of course, this country's inferior investigative techniques probably wouldn't pick up on it anyway.
Because we don't do a full autopsy here, don't we? We just have a post-mortem report, based on observing the corpse, right? Maybe that's what happened. And that's why she took the glass. There's traces of poison in it. That most captivating and beautiful testimony will go down in Supreme Court's history. Thank you. Well, yeah, it will, because I'm about to plug it full of I'm going to poke through all the holes, sorry. I'm not going to plug the holes in. Damn it. That would be supporting her case. Easy does it.
I hope that is the last time I will have to sully my lips with the coarse tones of your unbecoming tongue.
Well, I mean, you've got a very good grasp of Japanese if you can use big words like coarse and unbecoming. Well, not big words, but, you know, complex.
Oh, forgive me. I do hope I haven't insulted anyone. I'm a fucking troll.
She's got the troll face behind that mask, I swear.
Oh, not at all, not at all. It's a delight merely to hear you speak, dear lady. And it seems very clear from your testimony that this boorish talk of the victim's burn is utterly irrelevant. I will be speaking to your country's Minister of Justice about what has happened here today. The Minister of Justice? May that irritating little bully of a student be given the harshest punishment possible. Amen.
It's hard to do a... I can do a British accent okay, but I can't do a feminine one, unfortunately. That's where, you know, I fall short of people like Pixel Partners, you know? They got a duo, both genders, and it's easier for them to do the voices. But, all the same, I'm trying my best out here, okay? Huh? Thanks? Was that a prayer then? Well, you'll have to forgive the irritation, Miss Brett, and put up with a cross-examination now. Guess you'll be eating your own words for lunch instead. I expect you've noticed that this little bully of a student, as you put it, doesn't miss much. Oh, that was good. I like that. I'm sure I don't need to remind you, counsel, that this will be your final cross-examination in this trial. If you fail to demonstrate any problems with this witness's testimony, I will be ruling on the case immediately. Is that clear? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. I thought we were gonna do a woosah, but sure, we'll slap our face. Yes, Your Excellency. Then you may proceed with the cross-examination. Proceed I shall. Here we go. The victim's death. Unfortunately, I have no idea when the poor man burnt his wrist like that.
Yes!
But his hand was on the searing hot plate for at least 3 whole seconds. You can't not have noticed.
Do you think so? Let me ask you something.
Sorry?
Ever since I arrived at this courtroom, and even still now, the fly on those unsightly black trousers of yours has been wide open.
Oh, God. I'm behind a table.
You can't not have noticed, can you?
Huh? What? Ah! No, she's right. Oh, God. I'm gonna die of embarrassment.
Haha, what fun. You hadn't realized.
The dear lady is absolutely right. As your friend, you've embarrassed me as well as yourself, Ryunosuke. Oh, for God's sake, man. I just saved our asses, and now you're saying I'm embarrassing you? God, let me just walk out of the courtroom. Why didn't you tell me?
Dr. Wilson was a true English gentleman. He chose honorable silence over a vulgar scream. Can your tiny brains imagine such a thing? Oh, yes, I think my tiny brain can.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I'm not gonna object to that. Well, I can't!
Anyway, when the waiter brought my steak, the professor and I raised our glasses in a toast.
Yes.
As you testified before, you were drinking carbonated water, is that right?
Dr. Wilson was only permitted to drink water at that time, if you remember. Which explains why he ordered that drink. Correct, waiter?
Exactly as you say, sir. Although... although? Whether or not the professor actually drank any of the water when I delivered the steak to the table. I'm afraid I don't remember that.
Damn you. Ah, I have enough English to understand that, at least. For the benefit of others in the court, it means bless you.
Oh, God. I think it means the exact opposite. Lucky we studied English too.
Anyway,
As far as I've heard, the post-mortem report showed no other possible cause of death besides the gunshot. That is correct. Let's have a look at it real quickly. Death occurred a little after 2 p.m. and was caused by loss of blood from a gunshot to the chest. The bullet did not pass through the victim's body. Single bullet fired at close range, fatal hemorrhage from pectoral ballistic trauma. No exit wound. Bullet did not pass through the body.
Yes.
Yes, it's written here in the paperwork. Fatal hemorrhage from ballistic trauma.
yes. Luckily for all of us, a little burn on the wrist isn't going to kill us. And as there were no other signs of trauma on the victim's body to indicate some other cause of death, it can only have been the bullet from your gun that put an end to this innocent man's life.
But it doesn't make sense. The burn must have happened straight away, when the plate was first brought to the table by the waiter. Yes, that's true. If it had cooled even slightly, it wouldn't have been able to make a burn like that. And if the victim burned his wrist on the hot plate as soon as it was brought out from the kitchen, then he must have already been dead at that point.
Objection.
And yet, the fact is that the victim was killed by a gunshot to the chest. It says in the report, you... God, does anyone read here? Until you're able to show the court evidence to disprove that, this is a complete waste of time.
I concur. Prosecutor Ouchie is right. Ugh. I think that's the statement I need to present evidence for. Which one, however, that's the question. If there's some other way a man's life can be taken without leaving a trace, please do show me. Well,
Yes.
poison, right? Without leaving a trace.
If someone is shot, or strangled, or stabbed, or thrown from a height.
I mean, she is a medical student, right? She'd have access to this kind of stuff.
However a person's life is taken, there are always telltale traces on the body. Quite right, dear lady. And as our police force has thoroughly examined the body of the deceased, there can be no doubt. Isn't that right, Inspector Hosonaga?
As I've said, I always aim for a flawless investigation. There would be physical traces with all of those causes of death, that's true. Maybe there's some other way of killing someone that doesn't leave a mark.
If, heaven forbid, you doubt me, young man, you're going to have to tell everyone how exactly you think the professor did lose his life. Otherwise, I'm afraid your argument falls rather flat, doesn't it? Oh no, perish the thought! Calling such a sweet young lady's innocence into question? It's inconceivable! On my honor, I, Taketsuchi Ouchie, will cut down any who dare cast such aspersions.
A way of killing someone that leaves no trace. We need some evidence to back us up here. Yes, evidence.
But of course, this country's inferior investigative techniques probably wouldn't pick up on it anyway.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yes.
Press it. Inferior? What do you mean by that?
In the lands of the Great British Empire, the police store everything found at a crime scene for later examination. But in this country, you investigate once and that's the end of it. Isn't that so? You rely on these photographic prints. Quite right. La Carnival is open for business as usual today, just days after the incident.
Without its waiter?
Exactly. Which means that even if the investigation takes a different direction,
Wait.
vital evidence may be lost.
What was that? Did he just say wait?
It doesn't even occur to your naive detectives to try to preserve the crime scene. I'm trying to be as tactful about this as I can. You understand, of course. Killer blow! The lady is as formidable as she is beautiful.
Amazing. He's actually admitting our police may be flawed. Perhaps Prosecutor Ouchie is finally starting to see sense. I very much doubt that. Still, there's something about what Miss Brett just said. There was a moment before when something didn't seem quite right. Hosonaga? Can I press him? What do you think, Ryunosuke? I think it's going terribly. No matter how much I press her, I'm not turning up any new information. Yes, as I suspected. She's a tough witness. We need to find a way to break her testimony, or the cross-examination will be over. But that would mean I have to find a way. There must be some clue somewhere to help us find a chink in her armor. Kazuma. What, Ryunosuke? There is one thing I noticed. Something that's been bothering me. Bothering you? You mean about Miss Brett? Actually, no. Hosonaga himself. About the person standing next to her. Inspector Hosonaga. The detective. Yes, he seemed to react a little strangely to Miss Brett's last statement. I was wondering if it might be significant. If it might present an opening, maybe. Alright, I have an idea. Try pressing her on that last statement one more time. If you think so, but this time, instead of targeting the woman herself. Let's see what we can get out of the detective. Alright then. I wonder what Kazuma's thinking. I'll find out soon enough, I suppose. Once I press Miss Brett on her last statement again!